Humans of the Cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. New TCG ban list. Just dropped. I was not expecting this, really at this point. I had heard some players talking about emergency ban list, this and that, but we've got it here, and it's very interesting. Let's just get into this thing. Okay, so we're on Twitter. We're on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Twitter. First and foremost, we start with the bans, of course. Only two bans here, Curious and Mystic Mine. I'm not mad about it. I mean, listen, I've always been calling for Mystic Mine. I just think it's unhealthy. I know checks and balances. This card checks this, and these cards check Mystic Mine. But I just don't love a format. I just don't love that every single format, you literally have to look at your deck and be like, do I have enough outs for Mystic Mine so I don't just lose duels, like, for no reason? Like, I just don't think one card should have that much skew in the metagame, right? Yeah, so that's cool. That's really good. Curious. Another one that we've talked about is just, it lets you access anything. Literally any monster in the game. I know it doesn't get it to hand or on field, but it does get it to grave, and there's just so many good graveyard cards in the game. These actually, Curious sends any card, not even just monsters, any card. So yeah, just to get you access to literally anything. So yeah, I mean, pretty sweet. I like it. I like that a lot. I feel like there are definitely some things missing here. We've talked about Scythe and stuff. I know it's not that popular in the format, but it always will rotate back in, especially since we still have Dagda, so we'll see what happens with that. But Dweller seems to be the other big one missing here that is nowhere to be seen, that could have potentially made the tier mirror a little bit more healthy, but it is what it is. Moving on here to the limits. Only one limit. Herald of Orange Light. This does hurt the Madolche deck profile I just made, in which I was playing 3 of this. I'd still probably play 1 just as like a cool one-off, but Eva's banned as well, right? So you can't even play Eva to search this in fairy decks. But I will say this, this card is a really ball-busting hand trap. As somebody who plays like rogue decks into stuff like tier, this card is a nightmare. I mean, I like won the die roll with Labyrinth one duel, and I probably would have just mopped him up based on my hand, except I go normal summon Ariana, and he goes Orange Light into Kelbeck, mill 5, and the mill was good. And like, the duel's just over. Like, right? So this card can just outright win duels. So now the fact that they're not going to be able to, I wouldn't even be surprised if most players just cut this card now, because it's only a one-off. You're losing 2 other fairy names you can open with it to make it live. So just taking away that is kind of nice. But at the same time, with this being here at the limited, I'm assuming there's no more Shizu tiers or tier cards at all on the rest of this ban list. So this being the only hit to a Shizu tier, being in a tier 0 format, is that enough? Probably not. It's a little something. I think one of the most broken things about a Shizu tier is that inherently they're able to play, 10 plus hand traps, like the Kelbecks, this card, the Havnesses, and is that before Bestials? Isn't there one other one that some players play? Okay, I'm blanking right now. But yeah, like, they inherently have like these cards that are engine cards that also are hand traps. And so the fact that this one comes out of there, this is probably the overall most powerful hand trap they play as far as being a hand trap. And I guess that is worth something. They'll replace it with something else, so I don't know how much it actually hurts the deck, but I guess it's nice-ish. It's a hit that was probably going to happen eventually. Like, fairy decks are just going to get better and better. This card's too open-ended, all that stuff. Moving on to the semi-limits. Only one semi-limit. We see Leerless Recital Starling go to 2. This is actually interesting. Konami trying to make Leerless Tri-Brigade good again, and this might actually do it. I know we don't have Samorg anymore, but Recital Starling going from 3 to 1 was like pretty brutal for them, because all of their combos were based around like making a Starling, searching a card, making a second Starling with the card you searched to like help you extend, then making like F0 and like plussing while you do it. So that does open up lines like that again. Again, don't have Samorg, but I think this should have enough plays here where this could be interesting. Cool. So Recital Starling added on to the lineup there. That's a cool takeoff, I think. I think it's been long enough and we're all looking at power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh! And like Tri-Brigade needs a little help to keep competing. I'm with it. And the final portion, which is stuff coming off the ban list completely here. Wow! Wow! Jesus Christ! Okay, Tellarknight Ptolemaeus. I have never played the game while this card was legal, but this card is cool. It allows you to pretty much make some pretty cool rank 4 plays. But doesn't this card need, essentially to like actually work the way you want it, don't you need to make this with 3 materials or with a Batlamias? So yeah, I guess it depends. I'll have to look more into this card. I don't know exactly all the plays. I think I looked at this a while ago and I was like, this card is fine, but just like, if you can make a rank 4, would you want to make Ptolemaeus to rank up into something good or Dweller? Right? So I like looked at it and I was like, is this really better than just like other rank 4s that the game has? I don't know. There could be some cool options there. I don't know them off the top of my head, but very interesting. We'll talk about these together. Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos to 3! Wow. So this opens up like a handful of decks to just be like the ultimate fuck you tier, I hate you decks in the game, right? You could play triple Shifter, triple Macro, triple Dimensional Fissure, and just say fuck you tier, like there's no way I'm losing to you. That's actually insane. So maybe instead of like hitting tier stuff, they're like, let's just bring all the graveyard hate out. All these decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are getting better and better as far as their ability to play in the graveyard, right? We've gone from Orcust, and now we're at tier, right? And they've just incrementally gotten stronger and stronger with playing out of the graveyard. Shifter, Fissure, Cosmos, man. Wow, that's crazy. We also see Fire Formation Tenki here going to 3 as well. I like this. I like this again. Same thing, another buff to Tri-Brigade / Leerless Tri-Brigade in specifics. That's probably going to be the best variant now. That's cool. Like, I never looked at tank. Like, it's a hard once per turn. I know it searches any Beast Warrior in the game, but Beast Warrior is not Warrior. Maybe down the line, if we get enough like great Beast Warrior cards over enough time, we can look at it and say, okay, this is just Rhoda. Let's put it to 1, just so it's not an insane consistency booster for any Beast Warrior deck. I get it, but like for right now, I think it's totally fine. And the last card here is Metaverse. I've talked about this as a Lair of Darkness player. This may make me update Lair as well. If they banned Mystic Mine, I thought it made sense that the only reason Metaverse was even on the list in the first place was Mystic Mine. So they can take Mystic Mine off the list. And now Lilith can access Lair of Darkness, which is really huge for the deck for sure. I mean, there's always been problems with the deck as far as like Lilith accesses your traps. Like your monsters get you to your traps, but your traps don't get you to your engine. I mean, some of your traps can get you to a fiend, like your monsters at some point, but they can't get you to Lair, and that's like really brutal. But Metaverse, definitely a nice little addition there to Lair of Darkness, and maybe some other decks as well. Decks that play Necro Valley, that's another like piece there that could be useful going in. So that's another card that kind of helps decks hate on tier even a little bit more. This is pretty interesting. I wonder if we really could run into a metagame where it's just tier and then a bunch of decks that just play like the absolute blowouts versus tier, right? Like, I mean, we've kind of already been in that, but we didn't have as much access for it. But now you can Metaverse for Necro Valley. You can Macrocosmos. You can D-Fissure, both at 3, not just at 1. So you're able to see them way, way more consistently. And Shifter, of course. So this is a weird place. Again, I mentioned this at the beginning. We're in a tier 0 format. I'm sure a lot of people were hoping for a ban list where it's like limiting Haveness, right? Like hitting some of the actual engine pieces of tier. We don't actually see much hit to tier here other than, I guess, Orange Light, which were in most lists, but not even everybody was playing. I had seen people who had cut it. But I think with the Bestials, with all the graveyard hate we have, with coming off this ban list, I think this could be a little bit more interesting. I'm really curious where we end up here and how the format kind of shapes up with this. Do I think it'll take a giant shift? No. I still think tier is by far and away the best deck, but people will find another 3 cards to play instead of Orange Light. The deck was with Bestials. I mean, we had seen lists that had played like up to 18 like hand traps in the main. So like Orange Light is powerful, right? And they lose a nice piece, but it's not crucial. It's not crucial to the strategy at all. So very, very interesting here, guys. I want to know your guys' thoughts down below. Please throw them in the comment section down below. This is this is a weird ban list, but they hit some things. They took some interesting things off. I don't think it's a complete dud because like tier is so new and Ishizu is so new that I didn't think they were really gonna like bludgeon that deck. So I think if your expectations were they're gonna hurt some of the tier Ishizu deck at this point, I don't know. That seemed a little bit I don't know, optimistic to me. I would have said maybe like early on our early next year ban list, because we're looking at like late February now, probably for the next ban list ish, somewhere in there, late February, early March. That's about the time I would expect them to actually do anything to a Shizu tier. But yeah, okay, we'll see. We'll see where these changes lead. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear them there. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you have not yet and you want to see more stuff from your boy. And I'll catch you in the next video.